And so the dominoes are falling, and we need to talk about it after the bumper.
Don't be cornering me. Hold up. Time. You gotta help me with that corner shit.
What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always college football related, sports related. We have a good time. Today, we need to talk about the dominoes falling, starting with Danny Stutzman, which I know is not a big-time recruit if you're an Oklahoma fan. 3 stars, we don't really think a whole lot about them, but they do make up the backbone of a team. You want blue chippers because blue chippers get you higher in the team rankings. Higher in the team rankings means that you are expected and probably more likely to have a national championship caliber football team. That's what Oklahoma is chasing. It knows it can get to the college football playoff. It has never won a semifinal game. And now we have what I think is going to begin a run pretty quick on recruits. Now, I say that because not just Stutzman got into the boat after a virtual visit, knowing that he wanted to lock up his spot almost as soon as he got the offer, wanted to wait just a little bit, then pulled the trigger. But also because you saw Boomer Sooner retweeted by Latrell McCutchin. And McCutchin came on this channel and, among other things, told Texas they could take their offer back. That doesn't speak to perhaps, being an OU lean. Yeah. You also got to take into account other aspects of this, like Garrett Nussmeier, who decided to pull the trigger on LSU, which takes a spot that was thought to be left for Caleb Williams by some. LSU stands still somehow believe that they're going to get both Garrett Nussmeier and Caleb Williams in the same class. Now, that's not how this works, dog. That's not how this works. But more than that, it kind of makes Oklahoma the preferred landing spot for Caleb Williams over, say, Maryland when he released his top 3 on Monday. That included, yes, LSU, Oklahoma, Maryland, but Maryland is where he is from. And Mike Locksley has pulled rabbits out of hats before, and he has a couple of blue chippers in this class that I didn't expect for him to get, along with flipping Rakeem Jarrett on national signing period to, Maryland, away from LSU, right? Also throw in there, he's got Isaiah Jacobs, Josh Jacobs' little brother, already in that 2020 class. He from just up the road from me at Owasso, where the Rams won another state championship, and they're just awesome. But if you look at the top 10 recruits at quarterback in this 2021 class, you'll see that there are only 2 that are left. I mean, just going down the list, Caleb Williams at the top as the top uncommitted, but also top quarterback prospect in this 2021 class. Also, you got Sam Hewart, who's committed to Washington. Brock Vandegrift, who's committed to Georgia. That was a really big deal for Oklahoma being able to basically trade up to go get a player the caliber of Caleb Williams. I kind of look at this like going from perhaps Steph Curry being year 1 to Kevin Durant being year 1. I know there's going to be some OKC fans that feel some kind of way about that, but the fact of the matter is Kevin Durant is a better basketball player than Steph Curry, even if Steph Curry is a better individual than Kevin Durant and a lot less petty and a lot less sensitive. But more than that, Brock Vandegrift is going to be an outstanding player for Georgia. I think he would have been an outstanding player for Oklahoma. I think that Caleb Williams is going to be a little bit better for whomever he decides to pick, right? So then you got J.J. McCarthy, who is committed to Michigan. Kyle McCord committed to Ohio State. Tyler Buchner committed to Notre Dame. Jake Garcia committed to USC. Miller Moss, as I mentioned, he's uncommitted. We'll still wait and see where he's going to end up. Drake May is flipped from Alabama to North Carolina, which makes them the number 2 team in the team rankings because they got not just a bunch of commits, but a bunch of blue chip commits, mostly all on the 4-star side, no 5 stars yet. Jalen Milroe is already committed to Texas, and then Preston Stone made history as the first junior to be allowed to announce his declaration to where he was going to school on national television, broadcast television, NBC at the All-American Bowl. He could be joined by Kamara Wheaton, who is an OU running back target, and Savion Byrd, who's also a target for Oklahoma. But you also need to take into account guys like Bryce Foster, who is perhaps the one dude outside of Andrew Raym that Bill Bedenbaugh has been working on the most. He wants to throw shot and disc as well as play offensive line wherever he goes because he has that kind of Olympic ability. The way that folks looked at Kevin Bookout when he's an OU basketball star is the way that folks need to begin to look at, yes, Bryce Foster. He's got that kind of juice. He's got that kind of talent. The man is nicknamed the Mountain for his strength. And, I mean, if this means anything to you, the Mountain just set the world deadlifting record with over 1,100 pounds he pulled from the floor, which is just nasty. But my favorite part of that is that he warmed up with 925 pounds, right? So now Caleb Williams, Latrell McCutchin, perhaps even you get Christian Leary, who's going to announce later or early this summer, I should say. Mario Williams, who is a high-value target for Oklahoma, a two-sport athlete, wants to play baseball, wants to play football, is a tremendous lead-off batter, helped lead Plant City, the Raiders, to their first baseball championship in years, like decades. Relief pitching, can provide you that speed burst that you need on the outside. It's kind of a Hollywood Brown type of prototype that could still grow, right? Still get a little bit bigger. I'm also really interested to see what this means for the running back recruiting, because if you can get a Kamar Wheaton and you can get an LJ Johnson, that's going to help you tremendously. But you might be willing to take 3 in this class because you only got the 1 last cycle, right? Because Oklahoma was expected to be buoyed and anchored and led by Jace McClellan in this 2020 class. He ends up flipping his commitment from Oklahoma to Alabama on signing day eve last December, and that left you with just Seth McGowan in the boat, who I expect to be pretty good. I think he's going to wear a single digit, which I'm very excited about. But also, you want to be able to find somebody that can help you out. You not necessarily can go into the transfer portal to do that. You lose Trey Sermon to Ohio State as a grad transfer. There's lots that you really, really, really would like to see Oklahoma do. And in this odd year for Oklahoma, that is when you swing for the fences on your quarterback recruiting, right? Your even years at Oklahoma are going to be perhaps the dude that is going to lose the job to the odd year kid, meaning Tanner Mordecai losing to Spencer Rattler and perhaps Chandler Morris losing to Caleb Williams. But you could get reset if you get skunked again on the guy that you want, because we all know that Bryce Young was the guy that Lincoln Riley wanted in that 2020 class, but it seems like Rattler scared him off, and Bryce Young is the top player in the top 247, according to 247 Sports Analyst. I think that all of that is important. Also means that you got to start looking to the defense a little bit more after you get these great offensive talents in the boat. That said, the last 2 commits to Oklahoma have been defensive, right? Jordan Mooks out of Choctaw here in Oklahoma. And then, of course, Danny Stutzman out of Winter Gardens in Florida, where last year he had 110 tackles, 6'3", 205 pounds, could blow up to be about 220, 225, and be your prototypical inside linebacker, a chase tackler at that will position, kind of like Kenneth Murray was for the last couple of years. I'm really excited to see what this class looks like when they all get it said and done. I think everybody stands to gain something in the month of May, but as Tennessee has been hard charging, right, with 8 commits in the last 7 days, and as Ohio State has been unflinchingly awesome at picking up commits during this unprecedented dead period, with 10 since the dead period began. And Mac Brown continues to just go out there and get kids that aren't normally going to North Carolina to go to North Carolina. With Will Shipley still out on the board from North Carolina, seems like he's down between Clemson, North Carolina, and Notre Dame. Lots of moving and shaking up here, but be on the lookout for Minnesota, who picked up their first top 50 commit in the history of Minnesota football last month. Be on the lookout for USC, who is charging up the board and who is all in on the number 1 player in the 2021 composite in Korey Foreman, who went from being a Clemson commit to a USC lean. He could bring with him Mason Smith, who is the top defensive tackle in Louisiana and was considered an LSU lean. Those two have said publicly that they want to play together. So LSU feels like they're in it because Mason Smith is such an LSU lean. Lots of moving and shaking going on. I expect May to be a phenomenal month for recruiting, and we're all going to have a lot of fun. All right, that's it for me. Deuces.